Assassin's Creed's entire future for the next few years has sort of been laid out in front of us. Now, during a Ubisoft event recently, we got a look at a bunch of Assassin's Creed games, and even though they're doubling down on Assassin's Creed games, it's a bit more complicated than you'd think. So let's try to figure out what the hell exactly is going on with Assassin's Creed. First off the bat, we should acknowledge that the Assassin's Creed fanbase is a bit divided into two camps. And on both sides, the numbers don't lie. There's plenty of people in both groups. The first are the old school fans, the purists like myself who prefer the old style games, as opposed to the newer, bigger, open world RPG games. We like our classic assassinating, story emphasis, that type of stuff. Meanwhile, some people have gotten into the Assassin's Creed games more recently with the big three: Odyssey, Origins, and Valhalla, which have really broadened the series' appeal by going way more open world, hundreds of hours of activity and DLC and content, while straying away from some of the bigger foundations that the series really was built upon. It's also worth noting that these newer games are incredibly popular and a bunch of people are really digging them. Now, interestingly enough, one of the bigger announcements of this event was Assassin's Creed Mirage. This was a much rumored leaked game for many weeks now. It is a, and I'm quoting them, pared down experience featuring Basim from Assassin's Creed Valhalla in a different setting in ancient Baghdad, with the game seemingly focusing much more around the classic, more linear, story-based experience, running and parkouring through cities, pulling off assassinations, that type of thing. Now, I think it's pretty lame that they didn't show any gameplay, considering this game is slated for 2023, seemingly not too far around the corner. At the very least, the cinematic pre-rendered CGI trailer did show us a lot of classic Assassin's Creed things. Running around through crowds, doing parkour, ancient marketplace assassinations, just stuff you'd really come to expect if you've been paying attention to the series from the very beginning. For old school fans, this is one of the more exciting games because it is specifically straying away from big RPG stats, decision making, and massive open worlds that the series has now really come to be known for. Another thing that really popped off that is worth mentioning with this, when it was first revealed and announced and pre-orders went up, one of the main video game store listings actually had the game slated as AO, or adults only, for quote-unquote real gambling, which with Ubisoft and loot boxes and microtransactions led a lot of people to believe it was actually true, but Ubisoft has since clarified, and apparently that was just an error with the store listing. Adults only rated games historically just are not really sold in a lot of places, so I don't think they would ever do that, and they have also stated that this game would not have any type of gambling microtransactions, which, good, thank God. That made headlines though, and that was pretty crazy. Now, along with that, we also got the announcement of Assassin's Creed Jade. This is a mobile-focused title in ancient China where you actually create your own character and go around in a big open world doing Assassin's Creed stuff. While this is definitely not for me, I'm not into mobile games, this is a smart way to do it. And with so much of the mobile market being focused in Asian territories in the world, I can see why they're probably doing this. This is definitely a following the money type of thing, but still, I wouldn't mind at least trying to climb up and leap of faith off of the Great Wall of China at least once, you know? And to get a little bit more financial analyst with this one, a lot of folks have been pointing to the recent news that Chinese conglomerate Tencent, the massive corporation that now at this point owns a pretty sizable amount of game publishers and developers, they've actually increased their stake in Ubisoft, specifically through some convoluted investments in entities involving Ubisoft founders, which led to a lot more speculation and the stock price of Ubisoft actually dropping 17% after the news. It is worth noting that regardless of the timing of this news, video games take a while to make, and Assassin's Creed Jade was probably in the works well before this move, but whether Tencent is involved or not, if you got a little bit of a cynical chip on your shoulder like we do, it's just Ubisoft playing more and more aggressively into the mobile market because that's where the money is, whether you like it or not. Like I said, it's not Ubisoft's first mobile Assassin's Creed game, and it's definitely not Ubisoft's first foray into just getting that mobile money, so honestly, we could have seen this one coming a mile away. That stuff is all pretty straightforward, even if it is bold that Ubisoft decided to put up pre-orders for Mirage without even showing us gameplay, but hey, the bigger questions we have around this whole thing revolve around the future of Assassin's Creed for the next few years. Whether they did it for shareholders or for fans, Ubisoft teased basically all of the Assassin's Creed projects in the works to look forward to for the next few years. Like, we know what Assassin's Creed is for the foreseeable future, and the way I look at it, maybe they were just tired of all of their games every single year pretty much always leaking out through a report or a leaked screenshot or something. Either way, there are two big things on the horizon. The first is the Assassin's Creed project codenamed Red. Now, this is the one that a lot of people have been begging for seemingly forever. It's feudal Japan, and you are like an assassin shinobi. All we got was this very cool, quick teaser scene involving the red sun, the background, the setting, and someone wielding both a hidden blade and a katana. And cool, man. All we really know about this one is that this is going to be very much closer to the formula of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Origins, and Odyssey, where it's a big, sprawling RPG adventure. And to be completely honest, cynicism aside, there's a lot that they can really do with this one. As much as I think like a shinobi ninja type thing would actually do better with the classic Assassin's Creed formula, at the very least, being able to explore a large region of Japan in a period of history could be a lot of fun. We had it with Ghost of Tsushima, we all fell in love with that game, so let's do it again with a different angle. The other big project even further down the line has been teased as Assassin's Creed Project Hexe. Now, from what we know of this one, it is going to take place in the witch trials period during the Holy Roman Empire. We really don't know anything else about this one other than the teaser, which gave us the Assassin's Creed logo and kind of like a ritualistic twig spooky type setting in the trees, and some kind of mystical creepy runes by the end of the teaser that they suggested that they wanted fans to try and decipher, but really not a lot of information on this one other than the fact that Clint Hocking is working on the project. Now, Clint Hocking, for those of you that don't know, is a developer, a person in the game industry who's been around for a while, who has experience working on the early Splinter Cell titles and Far Cry 2, one of the more creative of the Far Cry games, say what you will, as well as the more recent Watch Dogs Legion. Someone new in this creative type role with their track record, Legion aside, I think is good for hopefully breathing new life into an Assassin's Creed project, but that being said, this one is probably quite a ways off, and it's going to be a long time before we probably hear more about it. They just kind of laid out the roadmap for us with little else. What we do know, though, is that these two titles will be part of the overarching rumored Assassin's Creed Infinity. This is the big Assassin's Creed platform that had been rumored, leaked, kind of vaguely talked about by Ubisoft. It's kind of going to serve as a hub for Assassin's Creed fans. Now, Ubisoft has finally spoken about this a little bit. They did an interview with IGN outlining some things, but ultimately, we still have a ton of questions. What we do know is that Assassin's Creed Red, Hexe, whatever, will still be able to be purchased like traditional games. You'll still be able to just get the game if you want, and that's it. But you'll also be able to access these games on the Assassin's Creed Infinity platform. Apparently, this platform will be kind of like a one-stop access point for Assassin's Creed games, but we don't know how many Assassin's Creed games. We don't know specifically if it's going to be all of them, the old ones. Maybe this is going to be some sort of subscription service type of thing to access all the Assassin's Creed games. There sure are a lot. It could work. I don't know if I would necessarily pay for that, but this Assassin's Creed Infinity, almost Animus Hub type thing, is apparently also going to tell its own story. The modern day real world story is actually apparently going to be focused more here. That's just at least gleaning from what we've read online. We will link all of our sources in the description down below. Along with that, Ubisoft did also casually throw out that this Infinity could host multiplayer modes, and they said that they are currently experimenting and testing out a multiplayer mode, which for a lot of people actually is pretty exciting. If you remember the earlier days of Assassin's Creed, if you were playing for that long, there were actually some seemingly shoehorned multiplayer modes that actually turned out to be pretty fun and had quite a bit of a cult following. So for them to hopefully capitalize on that could be interesting, and it existing in this Infinity platform, of course, sounds interesting, but the cynical gamer hears this and there's gotta be some sort of games as a service angle to this, right? If you think about it, Ubisoft is doing this thing, building this platform for Assassin's Creed for the foreseeable future. How do they monetize it? That's really our biggest question. How do they monetize it? And really, ultimately, what is the value for us as players? What do we get from this new platform? Is the story that is going to be trickled into it really worth checking out? Is it going to feel like side content? Are there going to be games exclusively locked to the Infinity platform that we can't just buy as standalone games? There's still a lot of question marks for us. So this video is really kind of like a topic and a discussion. What the hell is up with Assassin's Creed as a franchise? franchise for the foreseeable future. We at least know the types of games coming, but we have a lot more questions about this whole overarching vision for Ubisoft and the Infinity platform. So from what you've heard, from what you've read online, from what you've seen from Ubisoft's mouth, what do you really think is going to come of this? Does this platform sound like something you'd actually try and engage in? Ubisoft in the past has tried to do all sorts of multimedia platforms to tell their Assassin's Creed stories. There was Assassin's Creed Initiates, all kinds of fan stuff. Not to mention the fact that they are working on a Netflix series. Like, there is a lot going on, but do you think Infinity can bring some value to you as a player? What would it take for you to really care? Even if you're kind of burnt out on Assassin's Creed, which one specifically caught your eye? Is it the final jump into Japan with Red? Is it the hopefully kind of spooky, off-kilter nature of something like this Assassin's Creed Project Hexe? And really, what are your thoughts on Assassin's Creed Mirage? I mean, it sounds pretty cool on paper, but we still haven't seen gameplay. So where are you at with all of this stuff? Let's just talk in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and like talking about video game topics with us, clicking the like button's all you gotta do. It very much helps us out. And if you're new, maybe consider subscribing, dude, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.